Good morning, everyone. Let us begin our service now. We're going to be, as you'll see, we're all muted and we are going to listen together. Scott is going to offer a prelude. During the prelude, I invite you to use the chat box. Let us know this morning where you're Zooming from, and if you also feel moved, share a recent experience of beauty. Good morning. Thank you, Scott. Welcome to Community Worship with the UU Congregation of Charlottesville. I'm Brett Gastinger, and I'm serving as your worship weaver today. I'm so glad to welcome all of you to this virtual sanctuary that we create, gathering here together through the wonder of digital communication. Our physical sanctuary was built in 1950 on hilltop land that was acquired by the church after World War II. For centuries before us, that land has been the dwelling place of the Monacan people. Later, that land was part of plantations of the Norris family and then the plantation of Rugby. They each enslaved African Americans for labor and profit. We honor all those who dwelt before us and all those lives that led to this moment of our gathering as a community of memory and of hope. This morning, I'm also offering you greetings as our member of the congregation's Board of Trustees. We'll be thinking about you and all of us a lot today as we gather later on this afternoon for our annual kickoff meeting and retreat. Reverend Leah asks that if you can today, please have near you a piece of paper and a writing instrument, something like a pen, a pencil, crayon, something that you can have nearby. And we'll use those later in the service today, so keep them close at hand. Our call to worship this morning is adapted from a reading written by Reverend Karen Johnston entitled Magic is Afoot. She writes, "The word liturgy is a fancy word, meaning the formulation of a religious service. Its etymology tells us that it means the work of the people. In many Unitarian Universalist contexts, the verb worship is intransitive. We do not worship something or someone. We claim the act of worship as raising up that which is worthy. There is magic afoot and reason, ritual and intellectual rigor, compassion, mutual care, delight, skepticism, deep comfort, disappointment, tears and laughter, challenge. It's all there. It's our Sunday service. Don't look too closely though. Behind the curtain, you might notice a dropped line, a skipped element, on purpose or accidentally, a missed cue, one part going long, another part going shorter than anticipated, someone not quite on their game, a baton passed and dropped for all to see. But then again, do look closely. See teamwork at play, adjustments made with a simple word or gesture, a deft drop or an even defter catch, a kind reminder, a gentle laughing at oneself, a collective forbearance, an assumed forgiveness, a truly it did not matter, sparks of synergy, moments of grace, moments of grace. This they see too, this they experience, hearts expanded. Magic is afoot, bundled in the work of the people, raising up that which is worthy.
Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near. Gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near. 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 Spirit draw near.
are the Shep family.
Josh,
Zoe,
Lisa,
and David.
we have been coming to this church for 15 years. What we love about being a part of this community is
how nice everybody is.
bingo night.
Friends in our community outreach.
I love that members of our congregation can and do hold different beliefs, practice our faith in our own ways, even not know what we believe, while coming together as a community with common values. We light our chalice this morning, the symbol of our UU faith.
We gather this hour as people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs.
We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together.
We light this chalice
to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the church of the open minds. This is the church of the helping hands. This is the church of the loving hearts.
Our congregation's chalice has been lit and will have its own screen throughout the service. If you have a chalice in your own home, please light it now.
Thank you.
Have you spent a lifetime looking to find a miracle or wonder that could change your mind? You ain't found no reason yet to believe, but maybe hope's got something yet left up her sleeve. Something beautiful, something natural, ordinary magic. Amazing that we have this chance to be here, to let our love vanish fear, and let our days overfill with ordinary magic. Have you felt the sunshine on your face? Have you heard the bird's version of Amazing Grace? Have you stood up on a mountain and tried to number the stars? Did you know that perfection is who you truly are? You're always magical, always beautiful, ordinary magic. It's amazing that we have this chance to be here, to let our love banish fear, to let our days overfill with ordinary magic. Like wind chimes, a child's song, the whisper of wind in the leaves, the moonlight, the wide open arms of a sycamore tree. That's just ordinary magic. It's amazing that we have this chance to be here, a chance to let our love disappear the fear, and let our days overfill with ordinary magic, ordinary magic.
Good morning, everyone. It is so good to be together this morning. I offer a special welcome to any young people who are in worship with us this morning, as well as anyone who's here with us for the first time. A special welcome to any students who are here with us this morning from UVA or PVCC or any other schools. We are so glad that you are with us here today. I hope that everyone will participate in this morning's worship as fully as possible. Sing along with the songs, move your body as you need, and also look at the beautiful faces of everyone in our Zoom sanctuary this morning. Kid President has a special message for us today. And while it is advice specifically to a newborn baby on their first day on Earth, there is important stuff for all of us to hear, take in, and carry with us in our hearts. Let's listen now together, and then we'll have a chance to sing together too. Welcome, everyone.
There's a lot that the kids need to know. A letter to a person on their first day here. Today, over 360,000 babies will be born, and you are one of them. Welcome, this is the world. It's a pretty cool place. There's lots to see, smell, there's corn dogs. I'm getting ahead of myself. There's just so much to do. Singing, dancing, and laughing. Laughing's the best. It's especially great when you laugh and milk comes out of your nose. But only if you just have milk. Otherwise, it's just gross. Some days gross things will happen. Some days awesome things will happen. Some days you'll get ice cream. Some days you won't. Some days your kite will fly high. Some days it gets stuck in the tree. It's just how it is here. There's plenty of reasons to dance. You just gotta look for them. Don't worry though, you won't be doing this alone. You're gonna meet lots of people here. Some of them will be really nice and some won't be. It's not that they can't be, it's just, maybe they're just having a bad day. Being a person is hard sometimes. You should give people high fives just for getting out of bed. Oh, high fives, I forgot to explain that. How do I explain this? It's high fives are like hitting someone who is your friend. That's really bad. Just treat everybody like it's their birthday, even if they don't deserve it. Because we all mess up sometimes. The biggest mess up, not forgiving each other's mess ups. Maybe you'll be a teacher. Maybe you'll be president. Maybe you'll cure every disease ever. You might even see the Grand Canyon, swim in the ocean. Oh, this is so much. It's a lot. Try this, take a breath. Isn't that amazing? It's called breathing. You're gonna do it a lot, and nobody knows exactly how much. So enjoy it. Pay attention. Take brain pictures. Because amazing things will happen every day. You're gonna do so much, but it's not about what you do. It's about who you are. And you're awesome. You're made that way. You're made from love, to be loved, to spread love. And love is always louder, no matter what. Even if hate has a bullhorn, love is louder. So let your life be loud. Let's shout to the world. Things can be better. It's okay about all the mess ups. Corn dog rule. Sorry, I'm just keep bringing that up. I don't think I told you this yet. We're really glad you're here. We don't say that enough to each other here because, well, life gets busy. You're gonna be important and you're gonna do a lot and you're gonna smell great, but don't get too busy. Remember to let everybody know you're glad they're here. You don't have to remember all this right now. You're gonna need a pep talk sometimes, and that's okay. For now, remember this. You're awake, you're awesome, live like it.
Love will guide us, peace has tried us. Hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. a song of peace in your heart. Spring's new beginning shall lead to the harvest. Love will guide us on our way. Love will guide us. Peace has tried us. Hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
Thank you, Scott. Part of the way that we turn our prayers into actions is by how we give of ourselves, our time, our talent, our money, our support to a hurting world. During the month of August, our congregation is inviting you to give to our Social Action Collection for the RISE organization. It's a local nonprofit that tutors and supports children. Each week we invite and are grateful for the financial gifts that you also make to sustain the ministry of this congregation. We give thanks for all that you love, and we encourage you to be generous in putting your love into action with your gifts. Thank you. I know Scott was itching to get that one in sometime this morning. It was great. Please join me in dedicating the offering now, saying these words. We accept your gifts with gratitude. May we use them wisely for the highest good.
When we extended our ministry theme, play, through July and August, we were optimistic about having turned the corner on the COVID pandemic. It felt joyful to say, let's focus on play this summer, after all the difficulties of the last year, and with the anticipation of being able to worship again in person. But things haven't played out the way we'd hoped. The coronavirus continues to wreak havoc at home and around the world. And as Reverend Linda said last Sunday, we're not sure when or how it will be safe for our congregation to resume fully in-person life. This news is disappointing for sure. It's not what we'd hoped for or what we want. And news of the wider world continues to be scary with disastrous natural events and extreme climate change, threats to our own democracy. The daily realities in Afghanistan and Haiti and beyond are heartbreaking. We hold all who are struggling and suffering in our minds and in our hearts with prayers for ease and peace. Grappling with all of these realities and more feels overwhelming. It's hard to feel hopeful when there is so much that feels out of control, and especially out of our control. So what are we to do? I've been wrestling with this a lot. How will we keep ourselves going this fall and into the winter? What do we teach our children to help bolster their resilience? What about our own resilience? What might be of help to us? Before I offer my thoughts, let me remind you of what Reverends Linda and Alex have offered us in their recent sermons. Reverend Linda encourages us to have a spiritual practice. Do you have one? Maybe you have more than one. She suggests having one that gives you joy, is easy and fun, and that helps you breathe. I find paying attention to my own breath helps me slow down, to calm myself and relax. Perhaps you do too. I invite us all to take a breath right here and now. In her summer sermon series, Reverend Linda also shared about her own spiritual practices: swimming, singing, and sharing, which she describes as spending time with others, listening to each other's stories and playing and creating meaning and beauty together. These are such wonderful, affirming, inspiring, and open-ended suggestions. I hope you find them helpful. Reverend Alex preached to us on the importance of being intentional about making time for rest. Rest can be healing on so many levels, and yet we often minimize its importance. Yes, intentional times of rest. We need them, especially during challenging times. In another sermon, Reverend Alex encouraged us to be mindful of creating community together and to see the work of creating community as an active practice. If you missed any of these sermons or want to listen to them again, you can find them on our congregation's YouTube page. There is a treasure trove of inspiration available to you there. And inspiration is one of the things we need now as we work to keep ourselves together in body, mind, and spirit, and make our way through the challenging times in which we live. Our cumulative sense of fatigue is real. And although our individual situations differ and our social location and privilege are factors we cannot ignore, we can all name loss, grief, life disruption, inconvenience, frustration, anger, and many more feelings that have arisen in us in the last year and more. It is and continues to be a hard time. Here's one way I think we can help ourselves keep going. We can use our magic. And while I wish I had the kind of magic Elizabeth Montgomery had when she twitched her nose in the TV show Bewitched, or the magic of Glenda in The Wizard of Oz,
you've always had the power to go back to Kansas.
The magic I'm talking about, the magic that will help see us through, is the magic Leah Morris sang about in our Chalice song today. Ordinary magic. Leah Morris sings about the ordinary magic of beauty and wonder. Sunshine touching our face, a sky full of stars, wind chimes, a child's song, the whisper of wind in the leaves, moonlight, and the wide open arms of a sycamore tree. Ordinary magic that can be experienced in our everyday lives, already here and waiting for us to notice. Where do you experience ordinary magic? In our call to worship today, Karen Johnston names magic as sparks of synergy in the work of people raising up that which is worthy. The magic that happens when we gather and make sacred space by being with one another, virtually and in person. The kind of magic I'm talking about is broadly defined and inclusive. It's not detached from reason, and it is full of grace. Play along with me, if you will, for a minute. Imagine that we each have the power to dream into being our own magic satchel. Think Mary Poppins and her very special carpet bag. Our magic satchel is full of what we might need to help us through both easy and challenging times. I love Julie Andrews in the role of Mary Poppins and the on-screen magic of that movie.
Well, first things first. I always say the place to hang a hat is on a hat stand.
The songs, the dancing, and that carpet bag, her carpet bag, her magic satchel, contained what she needed in the moment to help her keep going, be it a lamp or a plant or a talking parrot head umbrella. I believe we each must be proactive, even wise, and take care of ourselves and one another in the coming months by imagining what we want to put in our own magic satchels. Our magic satchels and their contents can help us cope on any day, but especially on the days when our hearts ache with what feels like too much grief or hopelessness. And by taking care of ourselves, we have a greater capacity to be there for others and to be of service to our larger community and the wider world. It's like putting on our own oxygen mask first and then having the capacity to assist others around us. One of the things in my magic satchel are books. And a book I read this summer is called Wintering: The Power of Rest and Retreat in Difficult Times by Catherine May. This memoir explores ways of taking care when life knocks us down. The author found herself in a challenging time pre-COVID with an ill spouse and a young child who needed to leave school, and then her own medical issues. She identified this difficult time in her life as a fallow period she calls wintering. Of course, we all go through wintering periods, and I'm sure you can recall your own. Beloveds, it feels like we've been in a collective wintering and that it isn't over yet, or perhaps it's coming around again. To sustain ourselves, to help ourselves and others from languishing in the months ahead, we need to be mindful now, to prepare and then make use of our preparations. We need to think about what we need in our magic satchels and then fill them so they are ready for us. So what's in my magic satchel? Well, I've got my bag right here. And let me share a little with you about what I'm assembling to sustain myself and in turn my community in the coming months. Of course, I have books, and I have some things to draw or be creative with, and the occasional piece of chocolate. But the things I really want to share with you, you'll have to use your mind's eye to see. They are the beauty of the nature that I encounter on my daily walks, the leaves in the trees, the colors of the changing seasons, the sounds of the birds, the flowers blooming in my garden, a warm cup of jasmine green tea, time with beloveds, including our dogs, Maggie and Lucky, laughter, tears, and the making of space for whatever it is that arises. It is the ordinary magic of everyday things that I treasure, seeing and savoring what is there waiting for me to notice it and appreciate it. This helps keep me connected to the divine, or God, or spirit, or whatever name you may use for the sacred. I learned recently about emerging brain science that is identifying new ways to lift ourselves out of languishing and help bring more joy into our lives. The science isn't suggesting that we force ourselves to be happier or less fearful. Instead, it shows how planning ahead and cultivating emotions we want to have in the future can be of help to us. Psychologist Lisa Feldman Barrett, in her book, How Emotions Are Made, The Secret Life of the Brain, explains that by practicing particular emotions, we can rewire our brains. She says we can help our brains grow new connections that make it easier for us to automatically cultivate helpful emotions when we need them. Isn't this amazing? And psychologist Belinda Campos says we can improve our well-being if we recognize moments of positive feelings, value them, and then seek them out more often. How powerful this practice might be for us during difficult times. To note moments of positive feelings, to value them, and then intentionally reconnect with these emotions as part of our self-care. I think this practice could not only help us feel better, but also give us a sense of agency and hope. It's an idea to put in our magic satchels and try. Earlier this morning, Breck encouraged you to have a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil near you. And I invite you now or later after the service to write down and then answer the question, what might help me or sustain me in the coming months? What do I want to pack in my magic satchel? And then perhaps in our virtual social hour today, or when you're interacting with others later, invite them into a conversation with you about this question and your answers. Lean in, listen to others' answers, and then share your own. What you hear might inspire you to add new things to your own satchel. And then Finally, with your paper and pen, I invite you to write the letters P-L-A-Y with space after each letter, like this. We've been exploring the theme play for many months now. And as we move into the fall, I think we'll need to be more intentional about bringing play into our lives now more than ever. And play doesn't mean the same thing to everyone. We each find different ways to engage with the world that brings release and renewal and joy. What I suggest is that you take the letters play and you use them as a tool to help take care of yourselves daily. By using this tool, you can check in with yourself or other family members to see if you have played each day. Here's how I'll be using mine. I want to check in with myself and make sure that every day I do something that helps me feel peaceful, such as light a candle or read a poem or listen to music or go for a walk or pay attention to my breath. For L, I chose the word light to remind myself to let the burdens lift off, if even just for a bit, by doing a meditation or saying a prayer or watching the sunrise or set. For the letter A, I chose agency in the world to remind me to live my UU values every day and do something to help heal our world. And then finally, for the letter Y, I want to do something daily that keeps me feeling young at heart, which could be as simple as taking time to roll around on the floor and stretch or have a good laugh. As you can see from the slide, there are other words I've thought of that I could switch out and put next to the letters play if I decide I want to. This is simply another resource to add to my magic satchel. See? Here it is. And I can use it to help me. You might want to try this with the word play too. And if not the word play, maybe there's another word that can help you stay grounded and connected to life's ordinary magic every day. Dear ones, I hope you are inspired by what I've said today and take action to support your spiritual health and your physical, mental, and emotional health in the coming days. Since we will not be gathering in our beloved physical sanctuary anytime soon, know that you can count on continuing to gather here in our virtual sanctuary and in the sanctuaries of our hearts and homes. Being together in community with you and as we show up together to help heal our hurting world is truly a blessing. It gives me hope. You give me hope. Together, we embody hope. As we move into this morning's closing song, I invite you to savor its words, to sing along, and to know that together we create a sacred community of remembrance, hope, and refuge. Let us be each other's sanctuaries as we carry on in these challenging times and as we strive to live our UU values faithfully every day. Thank you for playing with me. Amen, and blessed be.
Will you be my refuge, my haven in the storm? Will you keep the embers warm when my fire's all but gone? Will you remember and bring me sprigs of rosemary? Be my sanctuary till I can carry on, carry on, carry on. This one knocked me to the ground, this one dropped me to my knees. I should have seen it coming, but it surprised me. Will you be my refuge? my haven in the storm? Will you keep the embers warm when my fire's all but gone? Will you remember and bring me sprigs of rosemary? Be my sanctuary till I can carry on, carry on, carry on. In a state of true believers, on streets called us and them, it's gonna take some time till the world feels safe again. Will you be my refuge, my haven in the storm? Will you keep the embers warm when my fire's all but gone? Will you remember and bring me sprigs of rosemary? Be my sanctuary till I can carry on, carry on, carry on. You can rest here in Brown Chapel or with a circle of friends, a quiet grove of trees or between two bookends. Will you be my refuge, my haven in the storm? Will you keep the embers warm when my fire's all but gone? Will you remember and bring me sprigs of rosemary? Be my sanctuary till I can carry on, carry on, carry on, carry on.
As we go forth from this time together in sacred community, may we continue to be each other's sanctuaries and help each other to carry on in these challenging times. May we strive to live our UU values faithfully every day, all of our days. We extinguish the chalice flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Amen, and blessed be.